What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. This is episode number 178, and I have the biggest classic bodybuilder on earth, Matt Greggo. How are you, man?
What's up, brother? I'm happy to be here. I don't know about that, but I
How,
appreciate the kind words.
dude, how the fuck do you make weight?
Dude, honestly, like I'm not that heavy. I'm
Dude,
really not.
okay. I don't know. For those of you who don't know Matt, if you don't follow classic or if you live under a rock, I am going to show you how big Matt is. Let me just search him real quick on Instagram here.
You're too kind.
Yeah, no, but I just want people to see what I'm talking about because I think you're being too humble. Um, okay. This is Matt Greggo's Instagram. If you're listening on audio, it's Matt Greggo, Greggo. Um, okay. This is wild, dude. Like, this is fucking huge.
I appreciate it, man. I
What?
don't even see like I guess I have body dysmorphia.
You do have body dysmorphia. We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your weight here?
Right there I was probably like 10 pounds over the cap, maybe eight.
So what is that?
That's like that was like 229.
What?
Yeah.
You're only 229 here?
Yeah, because my weight cap's 219.
Holy fuck, it looks like 260 to me.
It's
It's
that
wild.
illusion, baby. It's
Yeah.
the illusion.
Yeah. What how tall are you, man?
Right like 5'10" and a half. So I'm like in that weird point.
5'10" and a half. Your Instagram is pretty cool. It shows a lot of transformations. Like this is pretty wild. And I read through some of this. I want to talk to you about it later, but
Yeah.
these some of these transformations are just like this is crazy, man, for 1 year from 23 to 24 Olympia.
Yeah, I kind of get surprised looking back at it myself now. I'm like, holy shit, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, so you're 229, your weight cap is 219, or you're 229 there.
Mm.
Your weight cap is 219. Do you have an easy time making weight, or do you have to like really struggle to get down?
No, I mean, like, honestly, I work with the Chris Cito, and we didn't do any cardio really in the prep.
Okay.
We, I eat a lot. Like, my carbs, like, never really dip below. There was like a few days in the rest days where we went maybe like below 200,
Yeah.
but most of my training days were like five, 600, and then high days would be like eight or 900.
Are you doing very little fat? Is that why?
Yeah, you know what Cito likes those low fats.
That's what I kind
Yeah.
of thought. Because usually guys who are getting away with like, when guys are dieting on 200 on a low day, it usually means there's like no fats in their diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you,
Cito doesn't like fats. He's not a fan.
do you feel good on your diets though? Do you feel good doing that?
No,
Yeah.
dude, the low fats fuck you up. I'll tell you
I
what,
know.
it feels terrible. People are like, oh, you're eating so many carbs, you probably feel great. But I'm like, no, dude, like this feels miserable.
I noticed when I did no fat prep, you feel great for like the half an hour after you eat.
That's
And then
it.
and then you get this like peak and valley thing all day long where you're like
I feel like it's
hungry.
like this. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
So have you considered, and I'm sure you love working with Chris, but have you considered trying like a little bit of fat in your diet or anything like that? Have you talked to Chris about it?
We actually started this the Arnold prep
Yeah.
with like a little more fats, which I thought was interesting. I guess he maybe even thought maybe we should add a little more fats. So
Where did you
it's
put
not.
where did you put him in your diet?
He hasn't been meal one. He has like almond butter and pre-workouts, like steak.
Okay.
And he actually added like extra virgin olive oil in like meal five, which I've never had Chris add that in my diet plan
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. But
You
it's
know,
good though. It's
so
good though, right?
oh dude, I feel so much better already.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so much better.
Good man. So 219 is the cutoff. I have to ask you this only just because of the way you look, and it's one of the main questions I want to ask you when I had you on was, do you have any plans to try and go to open?
Ah. All
Wait,
right, like
before you answer that, sorry, before you answer that, I don't want to cut you off, but how old are you?
I just turned 30.
Oh, so you have a lot of growing to do still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On dude, and the thing is like I haven't even like I feel like I was trained like an idiot for the past like 10 years. I wasn't even doing shit correctly.
Yeah.
Like I just feel I'm like hitting my stride now.
Yeah.
So it's
That
like,
that's not that abnormal though. A lot of guys, like I can say the same thing about my career. Like the first 10 years was kind of crazy, just getting
yeah.
through it. And then you kind of start to get into your stride at like, around 5 to 10 years somewhere in there. So
No,
it's
for sure.
s-
But I like here's my thing. I went from men's physique
yeah.
to classic, and like I feel like this year I'm finally like realizing in classic. Like I feel like last year I still had like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So now people are like, "Oh, you should do open." I'm like, "Holy shit! I just like got the feeling I'm doing classic."
Yeah, but look at this difference, right? Like
I know it's crazy.
this is you in men's physique.
Yeah,
You look good there.
that was my first show.
And then and this is your first show. That's great.
Yeah,
And then this is you in classic. I mean, I can only imagine what this looks like with 20 more pounds on it.
I think it looked pretty good, man.
Do you have, okay, let me ask you this. You know, a lot of people used to ask Chris, like, oh, Chris, why don't you go to open this and that? Like, and he would, and I think Chris's thing, and I'm only saying this going through Ian, was that he was just happy being the classic guy. Like he wanted to be the classic guy. It wasn't that he couldn't get big or didn't want to get big. So I'm kind of asking you the same thing is, are you happy with classic being your home, or are you the kind of guy that just wants to see how far you can push your physique?
I like to push it, man.
All right. All right.
I do think I'm being open at one point in my career. I don't know when
Really?
that's gonna be, and it kind of sucks because I train with Derek,
Yeah.
so like I see what the density level between my physique and his physique is,
Right.
and obviously it's not a good comparison because he's like one of the best in the world, obviously. But it's like I'm like shit, man. Like I look small. Like
Yeah. And for people who don't know what you're talking about, you train with Derek Lunsford.
yeah,
And I'll show really quickly. Here's you and Derek. I think there's some clips of you guys training together here somewhere. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, there you guys are there doing some chest press.
getting rowdy, baby.
Do you guys, I mean, you got 150s there. Are you guys using similar weights?
Yeah, I'm definitely stronger than Derek on the chest days, man. I'm telling you.
I hope he hears that.
Sorry, Derek. You gotta step your shit up.
All right, so you're working with Derek. Do you guys work to get trained together every day or no?
Yeah, pretty much every day.
So he obviously is thicker than you, but how tall are you again?
5'10" and a half.
5'10" and a half, and he's what, 5'6"?
Oh no, he's like a midget. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. But you guys have a
No,
lot
he's
of,
like 5'6". He's like 5'6".
I guess what I'm getting at is even though he might be thicker, you have a lot of different attributes. So I don't know if
Right.
that's the right way to compare it, right? Like I feel like when I look at your structure, it's kind of built for open.
That's
Like
what I
it's
guess that's what I'm starting to see too, as like you pointed out, other people in the industry pointed
yeah.
out. Like I'm starting to see like, okay, I can see the weight when it goes on, it look really good.
How did you do at the Olympia this year?
I got 10th.
10th, and that was your first Olympia, correct?
Second, like I said, last year I was like imposter syndrome. Like I won Tampa Pro, and dude, I weighed in with like shit in my pockets. I had my phone in my pocket. I had like drank water. I had clothes
Yeah.
on. I was like low two
Yeah.
hundreds.
Yeah.
So
And that was a 23 Olympia.
yeah, I didn't even place.
And then this year you won the New York Pro.
Yeah, New York.
And then did you weigh in at the top of the class there too?
Yeah, I was like 218.4.
218. And then same thing at the Olympia, obviously.
No, that was the way I weighed at the Olympia. At
What was your weight in
New
New York?
York, I was like 215, 214.
That's a lot, man, in a short period
Yeah.
of time.
It's
Were-
just it's like moving now. Like that's I agree with you because it's like I'm concerned because if I make a joke, I'm like 3 cheat days away from being open.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because honestly, I find this, you know, Flex Lewis used to deal with this
Mm,
because Flex Lewis was obviously one of the best, if not the best, 212 Olympia champion. But he wouldn't train that hard for most of the off season or eat a lot of food because he couldn't. He would be over the limit
yeah.
and he wouldn't be able to make weight. And I wonder sometimes with guys like that, like, you know, guys like us, we always want to push our bodies to like the full limit. And
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes how hard it is keeping your foot off the gas pedal.
I feel like I would lose my mind.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For someone like you, if you're putting on weight that easily, like you kind of comes down to like two choices. It's like I gotta like basically train light all year and not eat a lot, or I can go crazy, but then I gotta switch classes.
That's the issue. I don't really think I could just like not eat a lot and go to the gym and just like half-ass it. Like I just like
Yeah.
to fuck shit up in the gym. So it's like I don't want to go in the gym and be like bored. Just I get like a couple pump reps in. And, I
Yeah.
don't know.
How did you get into bodybuilding? How'd you start this whole thing?
Dude, I was like skinny. I
Yeah.
was like 120, 122, 23, somewhere around that. And I'm like, man, I ain't gonna get no girls looking like this.
This this is obviously after training a little bit, right?
Yeah, that was I was like 150 there.
Dude, 150. That's fucking
Yeah.
wild. I don't think I've ever like 150. That's you. 20 years old.
Yeah, I was like 18, 19.
That's crazy, man. So you were, so you started out, you're real skinny, and
Yeah.
then you decided to start going to the gym?
Oh no, I started working on my parents' basement like everyone does when they're young. No, I had the worst setup ever, man. I had like a bench and like a curl bar, and I was working out there for like 3 years. I was following all this crazy stuff, like low calories. I was eating like lentils and like I don't
Okay.
even know what that. I was like watching YouTubers. I'm like, all right, this is
Yeah.
how you gotta get shredded. You gotta get lean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I got a gym membership when I moved to Florida, and I'm like, okay, this is like, all right, I'm getting bigger now. I'm eating. This is like probably what I've been doing the past 4 years.
How old are you at this point?
18.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved to Florida, you start training.
Yeah, started going to a gym. It was like a Planet Fitness type of gym too at that. It wasn't even like anything good.
So how do you go from, it's funny the evolution actually. I think I can kind of understand. But how do you go explain to me your journey. So how do you go from I'm watching YouTubers and eating lentils for protein to I'm going to get on stage and be a freak? Like where was the turning point from fuck this, I want to get as big as I can?
Dude, I went to the I moved back from Florida to my home Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and I went to this grungy fucking old school gym.
Those are my favorite.
Like the dude
Yeah.
was dirty as
Yeah.
hell. There was
Yeah.
this guy name was Mike Miller. He's like a famous powerlifter. He owned the gym. And dude, everyone was huge. It was like they were playing metal. It was such like a cool environment. And I went there and I gained like 12 pounds in like 2 months. And I like looked in the mirror one day. I'm like, I think I should do like this competition stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
And like I was like, I'm gonna full send this. And then I just got like into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Was anybody else at that gym competing at all?
Yeah, but there was no one really notable, but it was just like the atmosphere. It was more like strongman and like
Right.
powerlifters that went there.
Right.
So like
So,
I felt like I couldn't be a bitch there and being lifting light. So I was like pushing it every single day.
but what drew, I guess what sparked the competition? Like, did you know anybody who competed? Did you go to a competition? Like for me, so like I went to a competition once and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I think I want to try it.
What
So
did you win the Orlando Europa?
I won the Orlando Europa. Yeah,
What year was it?
that was 2015.
That's the show I went to.
Yeah. Oh, was that your first show that you went to?
I went to the expo and I went to go like watch like they had like a stage there in the expo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like watching the bodybuilders and everything. I'm like, yo, this shit's cool, man. Like I think I could do this one day.
So basically I could take claim for your career.
100% you.
I'm just joking.
200% you.
I'm just joking. No. No, it's pretty. So you went there, and that's what sparked it, like a little bit. That's kind of what.
I was
Let's
around the
talk.
industry. I saw like the
Yeah,
people working the booths and I saw like, bodybuilders on stage. I'm like, this is cool.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. Actually, before that, what were you doing while you're doing this? Are you in school? Are
Yeah,
you?
school.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school like in Pennsylvania, my hometown area.
Hmm.
Um I was like in school for business and it was cool and all. I was like a really good student. Like I had like the highest GPA and everything, but I don't know, man. I just couldn't get to
Did you finish?
school.
Did you finish or did you leave
Yeah, I
early?
finished, but
Okay.
like I just never saw myself like I don't know. I always saw myself something with like the gym around it.
Right. Right.
And like I worked like in like an office setting and like I just couldn't see myself doing that forever. It would
Yeah.
just kill me on the inside.
Did you try it at all? Did you work at any kind of
Yeah, I
business?
worked in private equity marketing, which is like
Yeah.
it's kind of stressful, but
Yeah.
and the place I worked for was really cool. But like even that, I was like, I'm like trying to help somebody else's dreams come true when I have like my own dreams I want to make come true.
Right. Right. Right.
And it just
Is
didn't sit
your
well with me.
How old are you when you're working at the private equity firm?
Like 22, 23.
Did you know already at 22? Like, so everybody kind of goes through this evolution where they're like, okay, I want to compete. And then there's another evolution where they go, you know what? I think I want to do this for a living. Was yours kind of all at once, or was it like, did something give you the confidence to go, you know what? I'm going to leave this fucking equity firm and do this for a living?
It honestly, it was 2020 when the world like lost its shit,
Yeah.
and like we were working from home, and like the gyms were closed, and I was definitely down about it. I was in a good headspace, and I went to my girlfriend. I'm like, I really just like I feel like this life that I'm doing isn't what I'm destined to do.
Hmm.
And she supported me. She's like, well, just go in all in your dreams and like pursue what you want. And you know, if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to that world. You don't have to close the door forever.
That's true. Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
her support, I was like, all right, let's do it. You know, I pretty much quit. I was doing personal training too.
Yeah.
I was like, hey guys, I quit personal training. Hey guys, I quit the private equity firm. And I was like, well, this is gonna be rough because I'm not making any money now. So this is kind of shit.
I was gonna ask you because I get a lot of people that message me that say, I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. I want to get into the bodybuilding space. I don't know what to do. What should I do? How do I transition? So I guess my question to you is, okay, you quit personal training, you quit your job. How do you fucking live between and where are you getting your money from?
I started doing like coaching more, started to build that up a little bit,
Okay. Okay.
but I wasn't making much. And I don't know. For me, like I kind of like to have my back against the wall
Right.
and like I'll figure it out type of, that's just how I always been. So I feel like I just need to put myself in a really uncomfortable position to like figure it out.
I do the same thing. So
Yeah.
you're kind of like a no plan B guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are
Yeah.
at the time are you living with your girlfriend?
I'm living with my mom and my girlfriend.
Oh shit. So they're both
It was a shit storm. Shit storm.
so everybody's taking care of you.
Yeah. 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 We'll go with that.
How long did that go on for? So you leave the equity firm at what age? 23, 24?
Yeah, like 24.
How long did the buildup of your coaching business? Because I was going through your Instagram and I noticed that you bought yourself a Porsche
Yeah.
and a BMW.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show those in a minute, which you should be pretty proud of. But where is the how did the buildup go from 24 to where your business was really making money and you could support yourself? And how old were you when that started to happen?
I went pro in 2020 and it literally all like happened so fast. Like I started to get a lot more coaching clients. I got my first contract. My YouTube started to pick up, my Instagram started to pick up. And I went from making like such a little amount of money to like making like six figures a year equivalent
Right.
income. It was like it happened so fast.
Okay, but I just want to I want to stop you for 1 second, only because somebody watching this is going to go, well, fuck, I could do that and make six figures.
Nah, no,
It's not that fucking
no,
simple,
it's not
right?
that easy.
Yeah. So give me some reasons why. So first you leave the private equity firm, you leave personal training, you start coaching. You're making a little bit of money coaching.
Yep.
What's the next source of revenue that comes in? Is it YouTube? Is it contract? Is it what?
Well, it's the coaching clients picked up really fast after I got my pro card.
Oh, okay.
I started to really go all in it. I was
So
like
how
on top of
many
my shit.
so how many clients do you think you were coaching?
I went from like maybe like 10 to like 30, which is like a
Okay.
big jump.
Yeah, that is a big jump.
And
So 30
then
so 30 clients. And then where's the next source of revenue come from after that?
next source was a contract. I was getting paid like a couple $1,000,
Oh,
which was, for me that was
you don't have to tell me that if you don't want to, but if you do, it's up to you.
oh,
So
I worked that's like 4 years ago. We're good we're good money now.
okay. So
Yeah.
you get your first contract, you got 30 clients. Then when did you decide to start your YouTube? And did you start it because you knew you could make money from it, or did you start it because you wanted to expand your reach, or
I
both?
was doing YouTube before that. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
documented my whole prep of going pro
Okay.
and the views were starting to pick up and everything, so it was cool. Um, I didn't really do it for the money. Like I just kind of did it because I wanted to share my journey and have people like kind of follow along. I knew like
Yeah.
you can make money off it, but it wasn't more like I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a killing off of this.
I just want to show people really quickly. This is your YouTube channel. Matt Greggo. It's at Matt Greggo on YouTube. So you started this a while back. You got 372 videos here. So you had the wherewithal to start YouTube before turning pro.
Oh, way before.
Now, who gave you that? Okay, just out of curiosity, and you maybe thought of it yourself, or maybe just a landscape, or did somebody push you to do that? Because a lot of young guys starting out that want the contracts and want the success don't understand that they have to have this kind of side of things buttoned up as well. So, kind of who got you into that mindset to start that beforehand, or was
I
it
was
just
just like watching other people see what they were doing,
okay?
and I'm like, okay, these guys are making YouTube videos or they have a channel. Like this is probably a smart thing to do. And the part that I left out is I actually went to film school for 2 years too.
Okay, okay,
So that like kind of helped me understand like that aspect of like
sure,
cameras and editing and everything, which helps a lot with what I do now. But yeah, I just like kind of looked around. I'm like, and all these OG YouTubers, and I knew like if I want to be in a position where I have like a freedom type of life, I need to like be on YouTube. I need to be on Instagram. I need to do all the social media platforms, and like I just wanted to make sure I utilized everything my fullest capability.
right, right. So you're doing YouTube. Was anybody filming you, or because of your film background, were you kind of doing vlogging and editing and everything yourself?
I had a tripod.
Yeah, the whole setup.
Dude, I was doing the tripod back in 2016. People look at
Yeah.
me like I was fucking nuts. I'm like,
Yeah, it wasn't normal back then yet.
no. Then my girlfriend, she started helping with like my YouTube videos. That was like a big help,
Yeah.
and just like helping me like film. But I was doing blogs too.
Okay. So you've been doing steady have you kept that steady the whole time with YouTube, or are you
Um,
taking breaks from it at all?
well, aside from when like I had my mental health issues, that was when I took like a big break.
Hmm.
But I've been like steady for years now.
Okay. We're going to come back to that in 1 second.
Go-
I just want to continue down this one path, if you don't mind.
No, no, go
Uh,
ahead.
I just want to continue down this one path real quick. So you have YouTube going already. You have coaching going. You get your first contract. Where's the next source of revenue come to that buildup of like the six-figure mat?
Mm, I started honestly. TikTok was a nice
Really?
income source. Yeah, because I had a couple like videos go super viral, and those are making money. And then it just kind of you start. I started like to get these like little side things too, like TikTok. Like I would get paid by a company to do like a single ad for
Okay.
TikTok, and
Yeah.
that's people make a lot of money doing that.
Right.
So it's just more like little things like the YouTube AdSense,
Right.
the
Right. Right.
TikTok creator program, like a little bit of TikTok ads. So
Yeah.
it was like all those little things that started to like really kind of build up.
Right. 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 And all the while you're building your physique. So can you walk me through? You turned pro in 2020, and then how many shows have you done? I don't follow classic a whole ton. I want to start getting more into classic and kind of understanding all you guys and what you do because I really love what you guys are doing. So walk me through kind of your contest history a little bit.
I did my first Men's Physique Pro show, 2021.
Oh, you turned pro as a men's physique competitor. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you did your men's physique pro show 21. Then what after that?
I did 3 shows that year. I got third my pro debut, and I got last and last. That was pretty shitty.
That's humble, eh? You're like, oh, I'm third. Oh, I guess I'm not that bad.
I'm like, I'm pretty fucking good. I'm like, wait, I guess I suck.
So listen, this is why I'm not sorry. This is why I'm laughing. So when I started bodybuilding, my very first show, I won the overall. Like
Mm,
amateurs, not pros. I won the overall. Second show, I win the overall. Third show, I take third. It busted me.
yeah,
So I'm like, I just wonder how you felt. Like you're third, so you must have felt like, oh, I belong here.
yeah,
And then the next shows you take last. What was it? You said last.
yeah. I didn't even place.
So how did that feel?
Oh, dude, that it really humbled my ass, and it kind of destroyed me a little bit at that
Yeah,
time. Like
yeah,
it really like because I was really high. I'm like, oh, I got third on my debut. I'm gonna make it to the Olympia this year in men's physique, and then I do a show 4 weeks later, and I'm like in like the fourth call out or
yeah.
third call out. I'm like, holy shit! Like, am I even built for this? I literally told myself, I'm like, am I meant to be doing this?
Did you think about? Sorry, I need to just tie two things together. Were you making good money at this point?
Yeah, really good money.
So you're making good money, but you place shit. So in your mind, are you like, maybe I'm not going to compete. Maybe I just do this for the money, or were you like going to walk away at all, or were you just like, I'm going to regroup?
I don't. I'm such a competitive person, so I think I was just like crushed
Yeah,
that I play so bad. Like I wasn't even thinking about the money I was making. I'm like, what am I gonna do now? Like people are gonna think me like I'm a loser. Like I had all this like I had people support me and like I let them down. Like I felt so
right,
much like pressure on myself. Like
right, right.
it was rough.
So then you went to the third show that year, and you also didn't do well.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna like shut it down. I'm like, I'm gonna take some time off. It ain't going too well for me right now.
Did you talk to the judges after the shows?
Yeah, it was like yeah, it was all over the place.
It's
It was,
hard. It's hard to get feedback as a men's physique competitor, I think,
men's
right?
physique is tough. It's
Yeah.
like
Criteria is
yeah,
very like it doesn't seem as clear cut as open men's bodybuilding or
no, not at all.
yeah. So, okay, where do you go after that third show now? Are you like lit a new fire? Like I'm gonna fucking come back and do better? Or like what happens after that?
There was that, but like then there was also the period that's the year when like everything for me like my life got like rocked.
Okay, can I ask you, was the placing at that show or was just the bad ending to that year, was a kind of a catalyst to that?
I mean, it played a factor, but I don't think it was like the main reason.
Okay, so I want to get into it a little bit. One of the things we talk about on the podcast a lot is mental health because I don't think men talk about it enough. And inevitably, every time I talk about it, I get a slew of DMs from people that are happy because it made them feel better that they're not the only ones. So I want to get into it a bit. So you wrote on your Instagram that you went through a period. How long was that period of time where you were struggling?
It was from like it started to get really bad September 21 and it went all the way to like the beginning of May of 22.
So a little over a year, year and a half.
It was like a year, like maybe
Yeah.
like yeah, 9 months to a year.
What exactly did you go through? I know people say mental health all the time, but that could mean a slew of different things. So what exactly was it that you were dealing with the most?
I think it was just like I went through this like anxiety and I
Mhm.
kept it made no sense like because I kept telling myself like you're gonna lose everything, like you're gonna
Okay.
lose everything.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, why am I thinking like that? Because I've always been like a positive guy. Like I never was negative like that. But I just kept telling myself like everything's gonna be gone. You're gonna lose it all.
Yeah.
And it was like this never-ending loop. And like that started September, and it got worse and worse and worse. And the fucked up thing was I was making more money than ever when it started to get that bad.
Yeah.
And
That's normal, by the way.
yeah, so I guess I don't even know what it was, but I think maybe like I went from making like no money to like a good amount of money and like
Yeah.
I had so much pressure to like maintain this like image I kind of have of myself, and like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. Like you shouldn't think that way, but that's kind of what my mind was telling me,
Right.
and like I was like suffocated in anxiety like nonstop.
Do you think, can I ask you this? Listen, first of all, everything you're saying, everybody that has kind of your ascendance goes through that to some degree. I mean, there's days where I still feel that way.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck, tomorrow this is all going to be gone. I'm not going to have a house anymore. I'm going to be on the street. I mean, it just depends if it cripples you or not. But there's
right.
like varying degrees of it, right? Um, what? Fuck, I lost my train of thought there. Um, when you're dealing with it, are you able to like keep moving through it, or is it just like, I'm not going to go to work, I'm not going to go to the gym, I'm not going to fucking do anything, and I'm just going to stay home?
I was a mess, dude. I couldn't function. Like if you texted me towards that end of the year, you wouldn't get a text back. Not because I wanted to ignore you,
Yeah,
just because I was so like anxiety ridden and stressed and like I didn't want to let you know what I was going through.
right.
So like I wanted to make it seem like it was everything was okay, but it really wasn't.
Looking back at it now, I need to ask you this too, because I found this in my own life and other people that I know that have gone through this kind of thing. Do you feel like it's much less stress? Like, look, obviously, in that moment, you might not have known this, but looking back at it now, do you feel like you can alleviate a lot of those symptoms by just being yourself and not worrying so much about what other people think?
Yeah, I mean for sure, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Like, I always felt like if people know my faults, then I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And then I don't, it almost feels like a little bit like freeing in a way.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I was trying to paint this picture like stoicism, like I was like, I don't
Okay.
go through that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
But
when you,
it got really bad. Like I just and then like, you try to like figure out, well, what's going wrong? Is it my stomach? Because I was like, I would eat and I
Mhm.
would throw up. And I didn't know that was because of the anxiety. That I was just so stressed out.
Right.
But I was going to like a gastroenterologist. I'm like trying to figure out like it has to be my stomach. The stomach is causing all this shit. Like it has to be this. Then we
Right.
find out it wasn't the stomach. It's like, well, maybe it's like you have anxiety and you take anxiety medication. And then I took the wrong medication. Oh, it sent me off a cliff.
What did you take?
It was Zoloft.
And it made you feel worse.
Oh, dude, I couldn't. My thoughts were so dark 24/7 because they went from having anxiety to being full on depressed then once I started taking it. And
Can I ask you what that period of time was from like the start of it to where the Zoloft was?
that was in November. Like, dude, I took the Zoloft right on Thanksgiving. And I'm
Okay.
like, you know what? This is gonna be the start of something new. Like I'm
Right.
gonna get out of this shit. Like it's not gonna get worse than this. And then by a week later, it was as dark as it could have got.
Wow. How long did you stay on the Zoloft before you realized that the Zoloft was making you feel worse?
1 week, but then when I came off of it, it was like even worse because then
Yeah.
my it was just like it was hell. It was like a living hell.
You basically did this with your brain.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. So, do you have a doctor advising you at this time?
Yeah,
Or did you just kind
I
of on your
did.
own?
No, I had a doctor advise me. I just don't think she was doing the best job. I mean,
Right.
personally,
Right. Right.
but
So after Zoloft is gone, do you decide I'm going to try a different medication to maybe feel better, or are you like sworn off medication at that point?
I was sworn off it. I'm like, I can't do this. But the thing was, I was so fucked up. Like, I was not good.
Right.
So like, I was like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But I was so scared to take anything because like that put me in such a dark place. I'm like, well, what if this happens again? Like, I can't keep putting these people I love through it because like my girlfriend, God bless her, like if she wasn't with me, I wouldn't be here. Like,
Right.
and I don't want to put her anything or put her through anything more than what she already was with through. And like my mom and my family, my friends. So I'm like, I can't take medication. But there was a point where I'm like, well, I don't know what to do because it just kept getting worse. Like I couldn't function. I would like sit in bed and
Go ahead. No, I was going to ask like what does a day look like?
it was honestly, it's so vivid in my brain. Like, and I can remember the time and the noises because it would be like an endless cycle every day. It'd be like 9:11 or 9:10, whatever the clock was, and I had church bells outside my house then.
Okay.
And I knew when those church bells went off that I had an hour to get out of bed because I knew I couldn't be in bed for another hour. And then the next church bells would go off at like 10:11.
Okay.
And then once 10:11 struck, I knew that, oh, this day I have to get through this hell of a day. Like
Right.
I would tell myself, my heart would race for that hour
Right.
in bed. And I'd be like, how am I gonna get through this day right now?
Right.
Like how am I gonna figure this out? And I went through that loop for like 4 months.
Does that looking back at it now, because people listening who've never dealt with anxiety or depression probably feel like it's really irrational. When you think about it, does it seem irrational?
Yes and no. Because I went through, I know like I couldn't I was just fighting myself.
Yeah.
And if you've never been through that type of if you've never been through anxiety depression, you will never be able to relate to it. Because beforehand, I never understood when people were like, I'm anxious. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean?
Right. Right. Right.
But now that I went through it, I'm like, I can sympathize and empathize for people who went through it.
Right.
But obviously, I look back now, I'm like, damn, like, why couldn't I just like get out of it? Like, can't you?
Well, that's the thing that people say. Like when someone's depressed and they can't get out of bed, the number one thing someone says is just get out of bed. Just go do
Oh
something.
no,
And you feel stuck in a sense. So you just couldn't. And what was your girlfriend trying to get you out of bed? Was she trying to like doing anything, or was she just kind of leaving you alone to kind of
no,
manage?
everyone was trying, and I'm like, I'm headstrong too, so that doesn't help. You know what I mean? So it's like, but they were all doing their best to try to get me like in my life together in a sense,
Right.
but I couldn't connect the pieces of my mind to make things go the right direction.
What's the next kind of interval after that? Does it get even worse or does it start to get better? And if it does get better or worse, at what point?
It got really bad until January, and then I wouldn't say it got better, but from January to like March, it was just like that never-ending loop. Like every
Yeah.
day was like it was like a repeat, like 16 hours either in bed, couch. I would cry every single day.
How
I would
is,
like
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would like look at my phone and I would go through this was terrible. I don't know why I did this. I would look through my phone, like look through like old pictures of like me on stage and like me like living and looking happy, and I would just cry and I'm like, oh, I just want this back. Like, and I kept telling myself, like, your career in bodybuilding is done. Like, your career in social media is done. Like, you'll never be able to do this again because you disappeared from social media and everything. Like, your career is done. Like, you can't be a bodybuilder anymore, which is
Right,
irrational, but that's what I told myself.
right, right, right. So that's kind of what I was going to ask you. So while this is going on for those 3 months, what's happening to your business? What's going on with your coaching? What's going on with your, obviously you said you're off social media, but like, is everything turned off? Like there's obviously no YouTube videos. There's no nothing.
Nothing. I honestly somehow I still managed to coach like athletes that, but they obviously were leaving because I wasn't on top of my shit. But I still had athletes throughout the period. Thank God. And I was somehow figuring out a way to like still give them some bit of my efforts.
Right,
And but like sponsors, like dude, I would get my sponsor to message me and I don't know why I just couldn't message anyone back.
right.
And I just like disappeared and like I thought that was like the right it's so messed up when you look back at now. Like that's why I told myself the right thing to do was like just don't talk to anyone, don't let them know what's going on, like which is terrible.
It's not, everything you're saying sounds irrational, but normal for what you're going through.
Right.
Because anybody I've talked to about depression or like, because I went through my own shit, you don't want to fucking talk to anybody.
No, dude.
It's the last thing. Like my phone would fucking ring and I would just look at it and I'm like, I'm not answering.
That's it.
It would be even like, look, like I have a best friend, Paul. He's on the podcast with me all the time. Even
Shout
Paul
out
would,
to Paul.
yeah, shout out to Paul. Even Paul would call me sometimes. I'm like, I'm just not going to answer it. I just don't want
Yeah.
to talk to anybody.
That's your best friend, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But even my best friend, I'm like, who's almost like more closer to me than my brothers, and I still just some days couldn't answer the phone.
Yep.
So I do get it. So after March, where does it start to go from there, and how do you start to dig yourself out of it?
So I have some really close friends who are Indian. I know that I have some Indian close friends, and they're like
Indian,
brothers.
Indian native or Indian Indian?
No, they're like, well, they're from India. Like they came
From India.
here.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I saw his name's Sunny. I saw him at the gym one day because I was going to the gym like 4 days a week. And I was only going because my girlfriend forced me to.
Yeah.
But it was a bitch to get in there. I would sit in the car and like sometimes cry, like I can't go in there. I can't let people see my physique. Like, you know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
have hoodies on, beanies on, and everything. I'm like covering my physique.
Yeah.
So I saw Sonny at the gym, and I was like, dude, Sonny, I'm losing my mind. And he's like, listen, if you're saying you're losing your mind, you're not losing your mind because you realize something's going on. You're not losing your mind.
Right.
He's like, I guarantee I can tell you what's going on with you because I've been through it myself.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you have? He's like, yeah. And he's like, they were like working out, and I'm like, hey, guess what? I guarantee you didn't listen to a word I said because you're so in your head right now. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't.
Right.
So he's like starting to like make it seem like it's not normal, but he's been through it. He's like, listen, bro. He's like, he owns like a trucking company,
Hmm.
like dispatching. They have like trucks who like park there. He's very successful.
Yeah.
He's like, come work for me. We need to get you a new routine. We're gonna get you out of this, but you need to get a new routine. You can't be in the house, sit
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was the saving grace for me.
Yeah.
Like just being with him like helping me. I went on new medication, and that helped me out tremendously.
Right. What medication
Sure.
was it?
It's called Effexor.
Okay.
It's an SNRI.
Okay. Okay. Are you still on that, or did you find a time to like wean off it?
No, I'm still on it. I
Yeah.
haven't like upped the dose or anything either. It's been working great since I
Yeah.
took it in 22,
Sure.
and just been great. Like it honestly, I feel like I've dealt with anxiety my whole life, but just kind of like turned it off
Right.
because when I started taking it, and after a month, I'm like, I feel like the light, like
I know
it
the
was like this
feeling.
light.
Yeah. No, I took an SSRI for 3 years. Um, and then I felt like, okay, I think I'm okay now, and I kind of weaned off it. But I know the feeling. You're like all of a sudden, kind of all of those voices are kind of quieted down. But your friend's right, and I think for a couple reasons. One, he's not in the space where he expects anything from you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he's not in bodybuilding, he's not in fitness, he's not. So this guy is safe because
Hmm.
he doesn't expect me to be a certain way or act a certain way or look a certain way, so I can just be myself.
Right.
And then obviously the second thing he was right about was just getting you out of your fucking routine.
Oh, dude, it was
Yeah,
terrible. I was not
yeah.
good.
But see, the average person would say, well, you got to get out of this bed routine, go back to the gym. But
No.
that wasn't he got you out of the whole routine into like a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
different
Yeah.
into a different world.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of that's good to see. I wanted to show this really quickly. I think I got the right one here. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the one? This is the photo of what you look like coming back.
Yeah. That was my first picture I took of myself. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a picture of myself right now, even though I don't like the way I look, but this is my starting point.
Right. So this was after you started to like feel better.
I was like, yeah, I was probably feeling better for like a month. Like, yeah, 2, 3 weeks.
You know, it's funny. Most people would look at this photo and be like, "I'd like to look like that guy."
That's what everyone tells me, man. I'm like, the body dysmorphia.
They're like, most people would read this, hear your story, look at this photo, and be like, "You're full of shit. You look great."
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. When I see that photo, I know what you're saying because I know what we expect from ourselves, right?
Yeah, we're all
So
always critics, you know?
right, 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 right. Um, so okay, so did you go work for the trucking company?
Yeah, it was great.
How long were you driving like long haul truck or is it
No, no,
big?
I was doing like dispatching. Like I would like call,
Oh,
I was like
okay, okay.
brokering, brokerage type of stuff. It was fun actually.
So how long did you do that for before you went back
I
to
did it for
bodybuilding?
like 2 months, and then literally one day, I guess I did need to put myself against the wall. I'm like, you know what? I'm messaging my sponsors back. I'm gonna tell them I'm getting my life back together. I'm gonna start pushing this coaching thing. I'm gonna try to get the social media. Like, I'm gonna figure out my first social media post because I didn't post for like 5, 6 months
Right, 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 right.
because people
Can
like
I
thought I was dead. Like they didn't
can,
think I didn't think good things.
were you I think you said this, but I don't know for sure. Were you on that medication while you were working at the trucking company?
Yeah, because I started taking
Okay,
it like
so
a month. Yeah,
so everything kind of was working together.
it was like synergistic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then you decided to message everybody back. What was the reception, and what was your reception for your first post back? Like, was everybody welcoming? Was everybody like, "What the fuck? Where'd you go?"
People were really welcoming
Yeah.
because I don't want to say I wasn't real, but going through that kind of like just made me more light. And you know what? It was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna portray this, and I'm not gonna do like
Perfect.
I'm human. I go through highs and lows like you. Like I'm not gonna make it seem like I'm this like perfect image. Like that's not
Yeah.
what it really is. I got
Yeah.
my ass kicked, and I'm gonna start talking about it.
I think that's what people on social media crave, to be honest with you. I think people want people to be genuine.
Yeah,
They don't want you to be like, "Oh, poor me" every day and like just get like sympathy, fucking love.
yeah. That no, no.
But they do want to know like, "Oh, I got an injury or I'm mentally not doing well or whatever." Like they want to know that like they're not the only fucking ones, right?
Right,
So I think but was that also freeing for you when you did that? Like coming
dude. It
back and
was like so freeing. Like it made
yeah.
me feel like a new man, just because I feel like I can just like kind of be more myself. And not to say I wasn't myself, but I was more like a suit and tie type of guy. I was trying to like paint this image.
Right, right, right. So what happens after that? You come back, your sponsors all welcome you back, people on social media welcome you back, and then you're like,
Thank
okay,
God.
back to the fucking grind. So
Yeah.
are you back in the grind looking at men's physique still?
Yeah. 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 So I did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna compete towards the end of the year. Then I'm like, I'm gonna compete maybe in fall time. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna compete in 8 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm
That's
like,
kind of fast.
yeah. I'm like, let's just. I told you, put my back against the wall and figure this shit
And just
out.
go to it. Yeah, that's right.
And
So what happened?
I got six, and I'm like, wait, I
Okay.
placed better than the last show. I got last.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I'm all right, this ain't too bad. And I did it 2 other shows at Chicago and Tampa. I was in the first call out of both, and I'm like, all right, but I had like people like Chris Cormier came to me. He's like, kid, you need to get out of this men's physique shit. You need to do classic. I'm like, classic?
Chris.
I'm like, what? Classic? Tim Gardner. He's like, you should try classic. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I did Tampa. I'm like, this is men's physique is done for me because I got
Okay.
my feedback from the judges, and they're like, hey, the arms. No more arms. And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, no arms. I haven't trained them in a year. How am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Cut them off?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
am I gonna do? I was like, I definitely got to go and switch to classic. And then that was my turning point to
Let
move to
me
classic.
let me ask you this. When you were training, when you were a men's physique guy, were you still training legs like really hard?
In the off season, yeah, but in prep, I wouldn't do legs really at all.
Why?
I feel like they would grow too fast. Like if I started to like train them,
Yeah, because your legs are wild. So I'm like, is this guy like, did you know you had good legs?
the body dysmorphia, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, right? But like your legs are really good. So I just always curious. I'm like, I'm always curious about men's physique guys. I'm like, are they crushing legs or not?
No,
No,
bro,
right?
no, I don't think they
Yeah.
are. I mean,
No.
all right, there's some who are for sure.
Yeah.
But like, I'll give like an example. I went to Classic. I had to like train hard legs.
Right.
For this year, when I started training with Derek, it was not hard. It was torture.
Yeah.
So like,
Could be.
it's just a different
Yeah.
animal. Like, it's not the same.
Let me ask you this. I have some men's physique myths I want to dispel.
Let's do it.
Uh, do men's physique guys hate that they only get to do two poses?
I did.
But what are the like is the consensus amongst the guys like this sucks, we only get to do like this front and back shot, or do they love, are they divas and they're like, this is sweet, we just get to be models?
I think they might like hitting them, but honestly, I just don't understand that because I feel like you can't show your body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do feel like they like that kind of swag type of that they do
Yeah.
in men's physique.
So
But
they don't
I
want
didn't
to
personally.
so they I mean, we're just speaking generally. I'm sure everybody has their own opinion, but like
Yeah.
in the general consensus, do they not want to hit a front double bicep? Do they not want to hit a fucking most muscular? Like, do they just not give a shit? Or are they like, you know what? This is what I love doing anyways.
I feel like the guys at Olympia do because when they do like an overall pose down for
Yeah,
like shits and giggles,
I see them do that
they'll be
shit
like,
sometimes.
"Oh, let's go back doubles." Ryan Terry's hitting a back double. You get their
Yeah, yeah,
tongue out. They're doing the
yeah,
bodybuilding shit.
yeah. It's almost like they
Yeah,
want to do it, but they're not allowed to.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, you can't do this."
Um, okay, I want to dispel another myth. Do men's physique guys in the off season, do they kind of fuck off and like phone it in? Because I've heard of like some men's physique guys kind of like party all year and they fucking don't really eat that great, and then they just turn it on for prep because they don't really need to build any more muscle, so they kind of like just phone in the off season.
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't think I believe it. I mean, the guys look amazing. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I also know that if I could only put on so much muscle, I probably wouldn't fucking have to be crazy in the off
they're
season.
definitely not doing like
Yeah,
they're not doing a full swing off season. They're not going to the gym and doing
yeah,
XYZ. They're not eating the cow. There's no way. There's
yeah,
just no way.
yeah. I don't think so either. Um, okay, so you decide to move to classic. What is that move like for you? How scary is it for you? How long did you give yourself before jumping in?
I didn't give myself much time. I did Tampa Pro in August of 22. I did New York Pro May of 23. So I didn't give myself much
Oh
time, but I
fuck,
told you.
you've only done three classic shows.
No, I know I did a shit ton my first year. In 23,
Yeah.
I did New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Tampa, Olympia.
How'd you do at all those?
Um, Sixth at New York, which I did feel like I should have been a little bit higher, but that was my first show, so whatever.
Right.
Got fourth at Atlanta, second at Chicago, and then I won Tampa Pro.
Awesome. That's actually fucking really awesome.
Yeah.
The whole time through and even getting ready, did you talk to any judges? Like, are you getting encouragement to go to classic?
And men's physique.
When you went from men's physique to classic, did you get encouragement leading up to your first show or after your first show from judges?
Yes
Like,
and no. I asked a judge, I'm like, do you think I should go from men's physique to classic? They're like, no, you're good for men's physique. I'm like, really?
was it anybody like super high up? Because they're
I ain't
probably
saying nothing.
okay. And don't put anybody on blast. So just leave that one alone. Okay, so that's a good year though, man. I mean, that constant progression, right? So is
Yeah, it was great.
your confidence level, your fucking income, like everything is soaring right now. So life is good.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So what then the next year is New York Pro your first show the next year?
I did Pittsburgh. I got second to Eric by a point. That was honestly, that was like, I feel like I went through the rough times and it kind of helped me with that. Like, because I was upset for like 10 minutes.
Right.
And
Right.
then I called Aceto. I'm like, let's fucking win New York. Like, let's figure out what we got to do.
Right.
And I got really encouraging feedback from Tyler Manning. He was like, just saying, like, he pretty much said you had the better physique. You just didn't display it certain ways that you should have.
Yeah.
And he's like, just work on coming a little sharper and you should be able to win New York.
You know what I love about Tyler? I've seen him give feedback to guys. He doesn't fucking sugarcoat anything.
He's good, dude. Like,
There's
he's
no
good.
there's no like I'm worried I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
No.
He'll just look at you and be like, your back is shit, your legs need work, this pose sucked, that pose sucked. And you're kind of like, oh,
He's
like
like a young Steve.
yeah. I mean, he's not mean about it, but it's just very
Direct.
yeah, which I think is good for competitors, right? Because it's like, why fucking sugarcoat it? Like these
I
guys
don't
need to
like
know.
that shit. I don't like the whole,
Yeah,
oh, well,
yeah,
you could kind of work on this. Like, just tell me
yeah.
what's wrong. I got to fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you took his feedback, you went back to New York, you won New York,
Yep.
and then you shut it down to the Olympia.
Yep.
Okay, how did 10th place feel at the Olympia? Were you happy because it's the Olympia, or was it bittersweet, or how did that feel?
If I'm being completely honest, like, I wanted top 10,
Yeah,
and that was my goal to kind of get in that mix. And I was happy with it. But, like, at the same time, like, one of my best friends, like, just had such a rough showing that it didn't overshadow it, but it kind of took away my joy
what do
a
you
little
mean?
bit.
Are you talking about Derek?
Yeah, because like it was just I kind of like beat me up a little bit because I thought he could win.
Are you and Derek?
And
Sorry to interrupt you. Are you and Derek that close? Like, are you guys best friends?
yeah, dude, like
Oh,
we're like
I didn't know you were that close.
yeah,
Sorry.
we're like brothers, man. Like we hang out
Oh,
every
okay,
single day. So it's like
okay.
that like kind of like beat me up. And obviously when I looked at the pictures, I was like, yeah, he's not winning this. Like
Yeah,
it just there was too much. The quads were gone, and everything. But like it's still like I was like, fuck, man, like this sucks. I see how he was a mess. He was upset. But I had this like feeling that it was going to be good for him and good for me at the same time. Like I got myself in the mix at the Olympia,
right.
and sometimes you need to get your ass kicked to come up and rise higher. You know?
Agree. So I want to ask you a question about Derek then, since you're talking about it. Um, his quads don't look like that all the time. And I took that as when I looked at it, I took it as I think they over dieted at the end or something. Like something happened at the end for them not to look as full as they could
I agree.
because they were even smaller than the year before. And I'm like, there's no way he lost
Yeah.
muscle. So
No.
can you pinpoint, because you see him every day in the gym, can you pinpoint a time where you saw a change, or was it almost in the last week's depletion, or like where did you see something go wrong?
I think the last week is what did it
Yeah,
the most, but I feel like there was a point in the prep where maybe should have backed off on things a little bit.
yeah,
Just because he was like peeled and ready to go at like 4 or 5 weeks out. Like
I
it,
remember.
I even go to him like is the diet done? Like what are we doing here? Like
Yeah, yeah,
you're ready, dude. And it, I'm not I don't point fingers or anything, but I do think the last week is what kind of did the
yeah,
most.
yeah. Is it hard for you? I don't want to say hard. Is it hard, or is it motivational to train with somebody like Derek? I mean, obviously in one sense it's going to be motivational because he's a former Mr. Olympia and potential Mr. Olympia again one day. But is it also hard because you're like, fuck man, I train just as hard as this guy and he's twice my size.
It does suck, dude. It's humbling. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now. Like it's like the density difference. I'm like looking at this. I'm like,
I know. Gen-
man, I don't got that. The fuck.
genetics are a bitch.
He's got some crazy genetics, man. I'll tell
He
you
does.
that. It's
He does.
it's motivation more than anything, man. Just because like I kind of saw how like he goes about things, and everything, and it was motivation for me to step my shit up too. Because like I'm
Right.
like, all right, I can't train like a pussy anymore. I got to make sure I'm like bringing the same energy.
When did you and Derek start training together?
We started training a lot more right at the start of this year, 24, in like February.
Okay, so you're not okay, so I'm not like gonna say like you owe a lot of your career to Derek. I mean, this is just
No, no,
this
no,
is a
no.
okay, so this is like more of a recent thing.
No, he has made
Okay.
a great impact on me, but if anything, the biggest person who impacted me was Aceto. Like,
Yeah.
just like I love, like we are so similar in a lot of different things. Like, and we just mesh so well.
Mhm.
And like he really helped me like just skyrocket my career
Has Aceto, how long have you been working with Aceto for?
the whole time since I've been in classic. So from
Oh, okay.
23 to
Okay.
on.
And everything's great with you guys. You're not gonna go to
Uh, I
you're not gonna switch to Stefan like everybody else.
no, I actually know work with Hani. He's gonna take me on alone.
He's
Only
all
athlete.
he's coming out of retirement just to help you.
No, no, no boss, no boss. I'm
No
with
boss.
Aceto for good for now.
I just like to make that joke because everybody seems to be going to boss all of a sudden.
He's got to have like what, dude? I don't even. How many athletes?
It's wild, man. It's wild. I'm really I'm really excited to see what the year is going to look like for all those people.
I would
Um,
be stressed out personally. I'd be like, is he gonna be able to be like,
I don't know. He seems to manage it well, so I don't know. We'll see.
yeah.
Um, okay. I wanted to have you on because of the Arnold and because Chris is gone. Not that Chris would do the Arnold anyway, or he hasn't anyway to this point. But I think obviously Chris is not there, but I think Urs is not doing it. I don't know if Ramon is doing it.
No.
I think I have. Let me just see if I can find the thing real quick for it. I just want to see because I remember there was three guys. There was Urs, Ramon, and somebody else notable that was also out.
Breon.
Breon, that's it. So, how do you feel like your chances are at the Arnold? And this is your first Arnold, correct?
First Arnold.
Are you excited about like I don't know, but this is going to sound crazy, but the Arnold has always been my favorite show of the year, even more so than the Olympia. So, is this a big deal for you, or is this like
Hell yeah. I'm really excited about the Arnold, man. I have high expectations of myself.
where are your expectations? I have to ask you that. And I know everybody wants to win, but do you have a fallback thought?
I think that, and honestly, it's kind of yesterday where it kind of clicked in my mind. Like I had a Cormier's here in Tampa,
Yeah.
and he was like changing my poses up a little bit. And I'm like, holy fuck, like this is like a whole different look. I'm like angling things a little bit more, and he changed my back double. And I'm like, okay, like this is gonna look a lot different on stage. So like I feel like I could compare really well with Mike. And I
Summerfeld.
trained with
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, by the way. He's super
Yeah.
good dude.
Yeah.
Crazy physique. I feel like I could compare well with him, Wesley, Mike the Bull. I feel like that's gonna be like I feel like personally that's gonna be like the top four,
Yeah.
in my opinion. We all were top 10 at the Olympia.
Sure.
And Wesley, myself, and Michael the Bull were all in that one call out at the finals too. So like I
Okay.
think that's close too. But with how I've been moving, my physique has been going, I feel like I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna win, but I feel like I have an equal chance as anyone else does to win the show.
Yeah. Do you think Logan? I haven't seen Logan compete in a while. How does Logan Franklin stack up in this lineup?
He's got a good physique too, actually. I don't know. See, I don't know. Like, I don't know shape wise how he'll stack up the structure shape wise.
Yeah.
I
He-
think he needs to grow from what I saw at the Olympia, but I think he could be up there too.
When did he compete at the Olympia?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he placed.
I don't, man, I'm really not up to speed on my classic. I didn't know Logan competed at the Olympia.
Yeah, he was there. I feel like I saw him at the. He was there.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm definitely wrong. Uh, um, like I said, I'm making my foray into classic.
I think
Um,
honestly, if I'm being realistic, the on paper favorite is for sure Mike. Like that's
yeah, I mean, you have to
you
say he
know,
was second to Chris, and I think he beat Chris in a couple poses.
yeah, he looks nuts. And it's like he made so much improvements from when he got. I think he was at eighth,
Yeah.
and he was second. Personally, I thought he could. I could see him beating Chris.
When you see somebody like Wesley win though last year, and I feel like you compare better to Wesley than you do to Mike, just because you're both taller
I'm about to
guys,
say the
and
height.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you're a lot thicker than him, especially in the lower body. Um, but I think the height is kind of what gets me the most. When someone like Wesley wins and then he takes, I don't know, sixth or seventh at the Olympia, how does that?
I think he was eighth
Yeah, but when he won the Arnold earlier in the year, does that give you hope that like it doesn't matter where I place at the Olympia? This is a totally new show.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure
yeah,
it does. I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean, also like
yeah.
look at like Mike. He went from eighth to second, and Wesley went from first at the Arnold to eighth at the Olympia. So like
Right.
the guys in the top 10, in my opinion, are very like it's close. Like they're all like
Yeah,
elite.
yeah, yeah. I agree. So you and Chris, does Chris work with you a lot?
Chris Agostino,
Yeah. No, no, no. Sorry, Cormier.
he just came down because he's been well, it's on the social media, but Cormier's like doing his like training and posing.
Right.
So he's like here doing that, and like he's obviously helped me too when he was here. Um, so yeah, I mean that dude, I got a good feeling about them two together. And honestly, for me with the posing the adjustments he made for me, it was like wow, like this made my physique look so much better than I thought it could look.
Are you open to that for anybody? Like when guys want to come help you, you're like an open book, like you're willing to like take advice and you have the humility to like,
Yeah, dude. I mean, I told you I still like am new to classics, so I'm like still
yeah.
learning how to fucking pose. Like I'm still learning how to do things.
So what's the prize money for classic at the Arnold? It's like 60, I think.
60?
I think it's 60 or 80. I can't remember.
I don't know if they're upping or not. But I think last year was like 60.
Yeah. So I have to ask you this one question that's constantly arises in the bodybuilding space. The open class is going to get 500, I think, for the winner.
Crazy.
Do you think classic should be increased or is it still a bodybuilding show first?
More than open?
No, not more than open, but I
Uh,
mean, like
yeah, I think
open's 500. Like, where do you think classic should be?
like 100 plus for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. I don't think it should be near open though, if I'm being like honest, but I think it should be like 100, 150.
that's a reasonable answer. I think that's,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, all right, man. Listen, you got you got the Arnold coming up. What's after the Arnold?
It's right.
If you win, are you shutting it down to the Olympia?
I don't think so.
No.
Nah, I want to compete.
Oh, wait, before you go, I have to ask you just because I'm a fucking car guy. So okay, before I get into that, where are you gonna compete after after the Arnold?
I don't know. I'm not gonna
I know
say
where you know where you can compete?
where's that?
Detroit. That's where you should compete. You got the Detroit Pro on March
Hey,
29th,
maybe,
baby.
maybe. We'll see,
Listen,
right?
it's 4 fucking weeks. It's there for you.
Maybe, we'll see.
You go to Detroit, you win, qualify for the Olympia. If you
Got
haven't
that
won,
beautiful lighting set up, the
you
black
got the
backdrop.
lighting to make you look phenomenal. No,
Yeah.
it's our first year with Classic. Last year we just did Open Men's.
Yeah,
So this year we're doing Classic. We'd love to have you. No pressure. Now that
yeah.
we now that we've said it publicly for everybody, everybody spam. No, don't spam his shit.
Maybe.
No,
We'll
no,
see. One shot at a time, one shot at a time.
it's only 4 fucking weeks, man. It's great. You could just jump in. I can't find that. Oh, there it is. I want to talk to you about this before you go. Are you a car freak or are you just a success freak? Or is
I love
that, sorry, I
cars.
shouldn't say that because some people don't care about cars. You love cars.
Love them.
What's your car history look like?
Well, I didn't have enough money to get the cars I ever wanted to,
No,
so I'm like,
I want to know about the shitty ones too. What's your first car?
oh man, an old Mazda.
A Mazda what?
It was like a six.
Oh, nice.
Was living large, brother. And
Yeah.
then my first nicer car was a Lexus. I had a IS 350 F
Okay.
Sport.
It's a good jump.
That was a big jump for me.
Yeah.
And then I went to an Audi RS5 and
Another good choice.
yeah, tuned it. It was a rocket. It was fun. And then I got the GT3.
Okay. That's the
That was
one
a
I'm
bit
looking. Is that the one I'm looking at here or no? This is a
the chalk
GT.
gray one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
By the way, that's my favorite color.
oh, looks so damn good.
This is a beautiful car, dude.
I fucking love the thing.
Like I was never ever a Porsche guy, but I love this fucking car. Like it's the
It's
one.
just
Yeah.
the driving. It holds good value. It's oh man, it's just different. I love it.
Ever since they started making Porsches a little bit bigger, like a little bit
Mm.
wider and stockier.
Can you fit in one?
Yeah, I drove one actually, the 23 Olympia in Orlando. A friend of Mike's down there brought me and Ian a GT3 and a Z06.
Oh yeah.
And then we just had the fucking most fun for like three. He dropped them off and he's like, they're yours for 3 days. I'm like,
Oh, that's
oh,
dangerous.
I
Oh
know.
God.
I'm surprised we didn't die, man. It was fucking
Oh, I'd
awesome.
be a mess.
Yeah, yeah. So it was fucking great. But no, I'm not as big as I used to be, so I can fit in pretty much any car now.
Yeah,
I don't really have any problems. So you bought this fucking thing. It's yours. The bank doesn't own it.
I got it. It's all mine, paid off.
This is your girlfriend?
Yeah, it's my pain in the ass.
No, you're paying that. How long is your pain? How long has your pain in the ass been around?
A long time. This is gonna be our seventh Christmas.
Is this the same girlfriend you've been talking about like the whole time?
Yeah, yeah, she's been with me through it all.
This makes me really happy, man. You have a great story.
I'm blessed, dude. I really am. I'm thankful, man.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And then I saw these down here. This is your daily driver.
Well, the GT3 was my daily driver, and I'm like, wait, this is really stupid. Why am I doing this?
Nobody daily drives a GT3. What the fuck is wrong with
I was like, damn, Matt, you were really stupid. You were really a
yeah.
dumbass. You should probably get a
Yeah.
daily. And then I was like, you know what? I want to get an RS7, but the M5 just really was
Oh,
like,
I love the RS7. You know what's funny? Those have always been the two that I struggle with the most.
really?
The RS7, yeah, because I've reached a point in my life where I don't go anywhere without my dogs.
Mm,
So I can't buy a two-seater.
no.
So I was gonna buy something with like either a hatch, like an RS7, where I could fold the back seats down and the dogs can
Yeah.
just pound, or an M5 and just like put something in the back so they can sit in the back and not fuck up the
Yeah.
seats. But those two cars are always my number one choices for like a sedan of some
They're
sort.
so fun, dude. Oh
Yeah.
man, I love both those. I was like torn.
Well, the M5 is like a 0 to 60, like 2.9
Oh,
seconds or
it's well,
something.
the new one's kind of
The
heavy as
newest,
hell.
the newest one's a fucking like a fat pig, but
It's like a brick, dude. Like
yeah,
5,000 pounds.
yeah, yeah. But the one you have here is beautiful.
I
I love
love
this,
it.
love that car.
It's a rocket, dude.
So, so look at this. So this is your story
Yeah.
from this to this.
That last picture gives me nightmares, bro.
Sorry,
I'm just being.
get rid of it real quick. Look, man, I'm happy you came on the podcast. You have an amazing story, and I hope if there's anybody out there dealing with any shit, I hope your story helps them a little bit. And one of the things I saw that you wrote on your Instagram, and I'm probably paraphrasing here, but you wrote something about it's okay if you're going through dark times, but there's good times around the corner.
Yep.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so truthful, and I feel like anybody who's struggling with any issues needs to hear that. So I think you have a good message, man. I think you should keep on that because there's a lot of people out there who need to hear it.
Thank you, brother. I try my best to be, vulnerable with it all. Try to open up
Yeah.
about it more and more.
Before we go, is there anybody you want to thank, a sponsor, a person, anybody, or anything?
Well, thank you for having me on. It was fun, man. I don't even know what time it is, but I feel like we've been chit chatting for a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
minute. But it was fun, and I'm just hey, everyone supports me. I appreciate everyone who supports me, my sponsors, my girlfriend, my mom. Everyone's been in my corner since day one. It means the world to me, and just I'm excited for 25. I feel like it's gonna be the year for sure.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope you do really well at the Arnold. I'll be there to watch as a fan, and I hope you crush it.
Let's go. Let's
All right,
go.
brother. All right, brother. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll get this up as soon as we can.
Let's go. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, bro.